Continue to have these men excavate, Captain. Let us complete this task by nightfall. Yes, sir. Ulysses S. Grant has now traversed the Mississippi River. He is currently engaged in the Vicksburg Campaign. Within 17 days, Grant's forces advanced 200 miles and secured 5 victories. We are now discussing a siege. When Grant initially commences siege operations, he establishes a line opposite the Confederate positions, effectively cutting off vital supply routes to the city. Additionally, to guard against a Confederate force approaching from his rear, he constructs another series of entrenchments facing the opposite direction. He is now preparing to encircle Vicksburg with artillery. In fact, he will even deploy naval artillery from ships to bombard Vicksburg. Our objective is to exert maximum pressure on them, compelling them to realize that this sacrifice is no longer justifiable. The fundamental strategy of any siege involves isolating the besieged, leading them to deplete both their military assets and, more critically, their food supplies. This is intended to coerce them into surrendering. Consequently, Grant's army will expand to over 70,000 troops as time progresses. This represents an escalation of military pressure. Meanwhile, the Confederate government in Richmond is quite apprehensive about the circumstances at Vicksburg. A faction has emerged advocating for a shift in focus from the east, where conditions are favorable, to the west, where the situation is dire. Robert E. Lee's counterargument is that even if he dispatches troops to Vicksburg, they may arrive too late. Lee opts to move northward in pursuit of a decisive confrontation with the Federals north of Pennsylvania. Concurrently, Grant maintains the pressure at Vicksburg to bring the siege to a conclusion. By the conclusion of June, the Confederate army stationed at Vicksburg was surviving on a meager ration of peas and rice distributed once daily per soldier. Their water supply was also limited to a single cup per man each day. As the summer heat intensified, Grant planned to dam all the creeks flowing into the area. The Confederates faced bombardment from Union gunboats and artillery. Additionally, throughout the siege, a civilian population of approximately 2,000 remained trapped within the city. These citizens sought refuge underground in man-made caves to avoid the relentless shelling from Union cannons and heavy mortars. The only moments they emerged from these caves were during the times when Union artillerymen took their meals at morning, noon, and evening. Grant was acutely aware of the hardships endured by the civilians in Vicksburg. While he did not take pleasure in their suffering, he believed that without breaking the resolve of the Southern populace, the war would not reach a conclusion. The civilians in Vicksburg, who had previously had access to ample food, were now clearly starving. They resorted to consuming anything that moved, including rats. By early July, it became evident that the Confederates were nearing their breaking point. On July 3rd, 2 individuals were spotted approaching our lines with a white flag. This was a magnificent sight for the soldiers stationed there. On that sweltering afternoon of July 3rd, coinciding with Pickett's legions charging over the stone wall at Gettysburg, the Confederate commander, John Pemberton, approached Grant to inquire about the terms for surrendering the city. General Pemberton, "What are your terms, General?" "Surprise me. I propose." "No proposals. The terms remain unchanged. Unconditional surrender." "Sir, we need to offer terms." "Number, let's be practical. What will we do with 30,000 prisoners?" "It would be better to propose terms. What do you think?" "General, I am willing to accept parole, but only if my men are allowed to retain all of their personal belongings." "When you refer to personal property, are you including slaves?" "Sidearms and horses, but no slaves. No slaves will accompany you. You have until 10 o'clock tonight. After that, we will launch an attack on the city." Up to this moment, Grant's reputation is one of unconditional surrender, yet he paroles the men present, demonstrating his mental flexibility. I believe he considers the implications of sending these 30,000 scarecrows back to their towns. What will they report? "We were just defeated. General Grant." "Keep your sidearms, General." "General, the enemy had been enduring hardships, especially towards the end. I witnessed our soldiers sharing bread from their haversacks with the enemy they had recently tried to starve." Grant does not harbor animosity towards Southern people. He perceives them as Americans who have lost their way. While he does not support their cause, he cares for the individuals involved. This perspective significantly influences his interactions with the Confederates throughout the Civil War. Vicksburg capitulates, and the Mississippi River is once again navigable. As Lincoln states, the Father of Waters flows untroubled to the sea. Remarkably, the news reaches him the same weekend as the victory at Gettysburg. My dear General, upon your initial arrival near Vicksburg, I held no belief other than a general hope for the expedition's success. I now wish to personally acknowledge that you were correct and I was mistaken. Yours sincerely, a Lincoln. Grant and Lincoln initially connect through their correspondence, which is truly remarkable. Both are men from the West. I believe they possess a shared philosophy and perhaps a similar mindset, which significantly influenced the foundation of their future relationship. This victory marked the peak of an extensive campaign, characterized by numerous trials and errors, as Grant sought to capture what appeared to be an unassailable fort. The Vicksburg Campaign has been analyzed by military experts since July 1863. Indeed, the Army's warfighting manual identifies the Vicksburg Campaign as the most exceptional campaign ever conducted on American territory. Thus, while the Civil War is frequently described as the last of the old wars and the first of the modern wars, Grant can be regarded as the first modern American warrior. Thank you for watching.